Hello, and welcome to the Sprint 2 demo of the Stanford Library's Access and Discovery Team's Spring 2022 Workcycle on the Digital Library of the Middle East. After a significant focus on the developer experience in our first sprint, this sprint we've made good progress on some user experience changes. I'll turn it over to the team to walk through some of those.
I'm Corey, a developer on the Access team. I'm going to describe a number of improvements we've made to the user experience this sprint. We've expanded and improved sorting options. We've added a date sort feature to the results page. You can now choose to change the sort order from oldest to newest or from newest to oldest. When sorting from oldest to newest, the earliest date on the record is used for sorting. And when sorting from newest to oldest, the latest date on the record is used. Any records that are missing a date will always sort at the end of the result set. We've also added an alert that appears when sorting by date to make it clear that not all records have a sortable date and that these records will appear at the end of the result set. This alert can be dismissed or it can be set to not appear again for that session. The other improvement we've made to sorting is handling titles that contain numerals. Previously, these titles would sort lexically, causing certain sequence titles to appear out of numerical order. We now pad out numbers in the sortable title field so that they will sort in numeric order, as you can see here. We've also made improvements to search. The DLME site now supports Boolean operators. When a Boolean operator is present in a query, we change Solr's minimum must match setting to 1. This allows the Boolean operators to function as expected, meaning you can use and, or, and not in uppercase to build precise queries, as I've done here. We've also made some changes to field configurations. We've configured the data provider collection field to be language aware. Now, if you are in the English view, you can browse collections in English. And if you are in the Arabic view, you can browse by collection in Arabic. We've also made improvements to the contributor page. We've changed the fields used to count collections within each listed data provider and holding institution to ensure that the collection counts that you see in the table under the collections heading are accurate. We've also changed the language we use to describe data providers and holding institutions. You can see this change on the contributor page among other places in the application. Data contributor is now displayed as data provider, and item contributor is now displayed as holding institution.
Hello, I'm Marlo, a developer on the Access team, and I'm going to showcase a few more changes to the user interface. The first change I'd like to highlight is the fact that we've added the Mirador Image Tools plugin to our media viewer. By default, this plugin is in collapsed form, but it expands to show a range of options for the user. Users can rotate the image and adjust brightness, contrast, saturation, and color. The next change I want to highlight is the title truncation that we've added in multiple places throughout the app. Some catalog items have extremely long titles. For example, this item's title is essentially a paragraph long. It was overwhelming to see that much text in the title area of the item page, so we've truncated the titles to 2 lines in the item view. We've also added a cutoff length for long titles in the breadcrumb navigation. Previously, long titles would run the entire length of the screen and sometimes break the layout. This was a change we needed for DLME, but we were able to add it to the Spotlight upstream repository, so it will benefit more users as well. And in search results and the list view and gallery view settings, we've limited the titles to 4 lines maximum. We also added 2-line title truncation to the slideshow view. The next UI improvement I want to highlight from this round is the ability to link from the slideshow view to the item detail page. Previously, both the image and the title were unlinked. So in a sense, the slideshow view was a bit of a dead end. Now users can get from the slideshow view to the item page easily. And this is a big usability win that we added to the Blacklight Gallery repository, so it should also benefit more than just DLME users. This round of work, we also explored the issue of adding a larger container breakpoint for the layout, which begins at 1400 pixels for large screens. This allows for images and content to fill out empty space on either side of the main container, creating a richer experience. You can see the difference in spacing here. This is the older, narrower version, and in this view, you can see the widened version. We were curious about this wider breakpoint because although we are currently using Bootstrap 4, Bootstrap 5 ships with a new breakpoint at this size of 1400 pixels. We analyzed and documented changes that need to be made to the layout for this new container size. Ultimately, we decided to hold off on implementing this change until we upgrade the entire application to Bootstrap 5 in a future work cycle. But we've done an important chunk of layout and UI planning related to that now. Also, in the course of this investigation, we spotted and closed a related issue in the Blacklight Gallery repository that should benefit us and others in the future. So just to be clear, although this demo is showing the widescreen container at 1400 pixels, we will not be shipping that this round.
Hey, I'm Nick, another developer on the Access team. Continuing the work of previous sprints, we made some changes to ease the setup of a production-like environment via Docker, both locally and in tests. In local development, we updated rake tasks to support loading fixture files from disk so that we could store testing data in the repository and add it to the environment using a single command. We also improved documentation on the different types of fixture files available and how they're formatted. These include single items, batches of items, and entire Spotlight exhibits. In our continuous integration process, we created a new workflow for testing the entire application stack using a web browser as a way to ensure the integrity of our built Docker images. This Docker image test creates a production-like environment using data exports from the real production site so that we can catch bugs that only appear in production before users see them.
One feature that we added to improve the developer experience is the ability to get new line-delimited JSON records from search results. DLME already uses that format when it transforms source records to our intermediate representation, and the ability to round-trip the data allows developers to easily extract and use a subset of the whole corpus for our development and our testing. As an example, here's a search result for the term papyri. When I request the new line-delimited JSON format, we can see the raw data. I can then take the search result URL and import these documents into my local development environment. After I click Fetch, in the background, my application will begin to index these records and they'll gradually become available in my environment, and I can use them to help test a new feature. Our DLME work cycle is now coming to a close, and the team is now going to turn our attention to tidying up some loose ends and getting a final deploy out. Thanks to the whole team for their work during this short work cycle.